Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As technically Swell Borough Council, the hosts of this meeting, although obviously we know we're in Maidstone Borough Council's hall, can I welcome all the visiting councillors and officers to the meeting today. I am reliably informed that we are not anticipating a fire alarm. So if there is a fire alarm, I believe that Caroline Matthews, who was hiding somewhere in there she is, will immediately leap into action and tell us what we're supposed to do. Is that correct, Caroline? Very good. So, can I have apologies for absence? Mrs. Vescovi.
Thank you. Apologies from Councillor Ken Pugh.
And does anybody else want to add anything to that?
Councillor Dukes has given his apologies. He's just got back from America yesterday.
Okay, so if we are all right up till there, I will go into the standard Swell Borough Council procedure. No, I won't. Sorry, I haven't read my briefing notes right, have I? It says I will hand over to Councillor Mrs. Ring. Oh, sorry, I do need to do that. I was right to start with, wasn't I? Right, so, can I firstly warn you that the meetings are webcast? And secondly, can I ask whether any member has any, firstly, pecuniary interest in any item on today's agenda, and secondly, non-pecuniary interest in any item on today's agenda? Having ascertained that, I will now do what it tells me on my instructions and hand over to Marion Ring, who is the committee chair at Maidstone Borough Council.
Thank you, Councillor Bowles. Now to the agenda for Maidstone. Item 1, apologies for absences. There are none. Notification of substitute members. There are none. Urgent items. There are no urgent items. Item 4, notification of visiting members. There are no visiting members. Thank you. Disclosures from members and officers. Are there any disclosures, members or officers? No, lovely, thank you. Disclosures of lobbying? No. Presentation of petitions. I understand we have no petitions. Question and answer session for members of the public? None. To consider whether items should be taken in private because of the possible disclosure of exempt information. There are no yellow pages on the agenda today, so I proceed that we take this item in part 1. Is that agreed with members? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor.
Oh, sorry.
No, over to you.
I now pass over to Councillor Dermott. I now over to you. Thank you.
It's Mac Dermott, by the way. It's not Mr. Dermott. It's Mac Dermott. MC. Thank you, Councillor Mrs. Ring. Ladies and gentlemen, any apologies for absence? We have one, which is we've already mentioned. David Dukes. Anyone else? No? We're all here. Declarations of interest? Any declarations of interest? None. Any notification of visiting members wishing to speak? I can't see another member from Tunbridge Wells here, so I think not. Questions of the members of the Council? None. Thank you. And finally, questions from members of the public? We have none there either. So in that, I will hand back to Councillor Andrew Bowles. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We all know that the opening agenda item is the single employing authority for Mid-Kent Environmental Services for Swell Borough Council. In the first instance, I'd like to ask Tracy Beattie to give a brief introduction to the report.
Thank you, Chairman. As way of introduction, can I just say that since 2014, when Mid-Kent Environmental Health was formed, we have delivered on the business case for the service. We have demonstrated resilience, savings and service quality. Looking forward, we in local government face many challenges, and certainly in the regulatory services we face some challenges presented by government, not least because of our exit from the EU, but also from the government's proposals to be more business friendly and so on. A single employer will help Mid-Kent Environmental Health place us in a strong position to continue to deliver these service objectives. The proposal is to make no changes to the organisational structure of the service, and we aren't changing from the two-site delivery model. The recommendation is for Tunbridge Wells to be the single employer for operational reasons described in the report, and to ensure that we have a spread of employment and financial risk amongst all three organisations within MKS. We can meet the cost of providing that single employer through reducing staff costs, and there will be no increase in cost for any of the organisations. I would now propose that I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Do members have questions at this stage? If not, I don't just mean Swell members. At this moment, I mean all members. If not, I will move down my guidance notes, which tries to aggregate 3 different sets of constitutions. I don't believe that any of the 3 councils have visiting members here today, and certainly Swell haven't, and I don't believe that Maidstone have, so we can skip those, which brings it back to me. And once again, I will ask if any member has any comments, and I will look firstly, if necessary, to the 3 portfolio holders. So, Councillor Simmons, anything from yourself?
Thank you very much, Chairman. Mrs. Beattie has introduced this item very clearly and in a much more pretty face than I could do. There are substantially 2 recommendations before us, and a third one, which is a sort of catch-all one. So the first one is that we do move to a single employer model, and as Mrs. Beattie has said, that will improve resilience of the service and improve working practices within the service. And the second one is that single employer should be Tunbridge Wells. And again, the reason for that is so that it's the spreading of the responsibilities and risks within Mid-Kent Services. Then the third recommendation for members is just delegated authority to sign off any necessary implementations of the decision. I don't think I need to say any more, Chairman, than that.
Thank you, Councillor Simmons. Councillor Ring, is there any wish from your side for you to speak? And do we need, I don't want to tread over anyone else's constitution. Under my constitution, I can take all the 3 recommends at once, but I'm not sure if that applies to my colleagues.
Well, the whole of our committee have been very happy with the presentations from Tracy, and we were quite happy with the results that we got.
Very good. And if I
we're also very happy to take all 3 at once.
Very good. So I will ask for one last time if there is any member who wishes to speak on this item. Yes, Councillor Basu.
That's our portfolio holder. Hold on a sec. Thank you.
Community Cabinet on 8th of February. And since then, there are certain changes have taken place because of, as you were advised by both your Maidstone Council. So we had to adjust that. But we have mentioned it on page 6, paragraph 5.5, that we have made those changes. And Mrs. Beattie have summarized it very well. I have nothing more to add except that I'll request you to pass the recommendation as mentioned on page 1. Thank you.
Thank you,
I'm
Councillor.
not sure everyone's got the same page numbers, though, have they?
No, we haven't. But
Yeah.
Agenda, if you like, after the regular thing where it says.
right, if there's no other speakers, Mr. Benson, were you indicating?
I was just going to clarify that it isn't on the agendas of the other two, but it just says that there have been some minor changes following consideration by Maidstone and Swale councils, and they don't substantively change what's recommended in here. So I think that was the point you were making, and we're very comfortable with it.
Was that Councillor Horton?
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to be clear that I understand the process that we're going through here. We are seeking to move the employment to a single employer, which will cost us more money, which I think is around the terms and conditions of the staff. But we are, in turn, making a saving in the staffing establishment, which offsets the increase in the cost. If I were a member of the public looking at it, what I see is a smaller environmental services department. Are we confident that the workload can be appropriately apportioned so that doesn't impact on the public that we serve?
Mrs. Beattie?
The short answer is yes. The savings have already been made through efficiencies, and that has been determined by making the shared service in the first place. So they've actually sort of determined from the administration rather than the front line officers that are going out and carrying out inspections or dealing with complaints.
You're satisfied, Councillor Horton? Then I will move into the voting process as it is on the papers in front of us. You have the recommendations. Councillor Simmons, on behalf of Swale Borough Council, you are proposing?
I am, yes, Chairman.
And seconded from the Chair. So this is the vote of Swale members. Those in favour of the proposal? That is unanimous. So I will hand now back to Councillor Ring.
I move Maidstone's recommendation. 1, that staff within the Mid-Kent Environmental Health Service move to a single employee in authority from the 1st of June 2017. Do I have a second now? Councillor Mortimer? Did you get that? Can we now take the vote for? Unanimous? Thank you very much, committee.
Councillor McDermott?
Oh, God.
Councillor Ring, my apologies. Are you doing the 3 recommendations independently or as a en bloc?
Are you quite happy? Quite happy to take the full block?
So if you want to just make sure that you have done so, and then I'll hand over to Tunbridge Wells.
I move Maidstone's recommendation that Tunbridge Wells Borough Council becomes a single employee authority for the Mid-Kent Environmental Health. Can I have a seconder? Yes. Councillor Burton? Can I now to the vote? All 4? Unanimous. Thank you, committee. And now I go on to the 3rd one, a final. I move Maidstone's recommendation that delegated authority be given to the Director of Regeneration and Placing Consultant with the Chairman of the Communities, Housing and Environment Committee to finalise the arrangements and sign any documents necessary to implement the decision. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Robinson. Can I have a vote for? Once again, unanimous. So I say thank you very much. And now we pass over to...
Thank you, Chairman. We're prepared to do all three at once. Do you want me to read them all out again, or just vote on all three? Are you all happy with voting for all three at once? Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Thank you very much. Therefore, are we all in agreement?
Agreed.
Agreed. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Then the only thing that remains for me to do is to formally close the Swell Borough Council part of this meeting and hand back to Councillor Ring.
Thank you, Councillor Bowles. I now close the meeting for Maidstone Borough Council and over to Councillor McDermott. Thank you. We're dying to say that after the first one.
Thank you very much. Before I do close the meeting, can I just thank the officers for all their hard work in preparing this for us. In the meantime, can I just ask everyone's happy with it? And therefore I'll close our meeting. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
And thank you very much, one and all, for your attendance. Again, can I echo Councillor McDermott in thanking officers? Can I thank Maidstone for hosting us on this occasion? And can I wish those of you that have got full councils and budgets tonight the very best of luck? and I hope to see you all in the not too distant future.